Welcome everybody, I'm Joshino, and today we're going to be talking about the data mining. So we did have a very rough data mining yesterday, but today Smite Data Mining posted quite an extensive data mine of the stuff that we've talked about before, and more information has been presented, a lot more actually, like loads of stuff is very lucid here, and some pretty epic stuff coming forwards. So first of all, a lot of people in my other video were quite worried about this Lazarus character and the idea that there might be some mega resurrection in the game. Now, like I mentioned before, in the Bible, Lazarus was a saint that was resurrected, and the idea that there was going to be some resurrection in the game there. Now we know a lot more. So first of all, let's just talk about the resurrection. The ability is called self-resurrection. A lot of people were worried that there'd be some sort of mercy ability in the game, that you'd be able to res the whole team, but actually it seems that it has some form of fake death, and whether or not you suicide yourself and then resurrect, but after you die, after 3 seconds you can resurrect yourself. Now it's not too clear whether you resurrect yourself in full health. Do you resurrect yourself whilst you're in the death screen? Are you in like the spawn screen and then there's an ability? Perhaps it's your ultimate that you use to resurrect yourself. Or like in Smite, which Paladins does take a lot of the abilities from, is it a bit like Kefri's ultimate where they bless somebody but probably just herself, and they can respawn after 3 seconds. It's something you activate before you die and then you come back, and obviously it does matter whether or not you come back with full health, you have all your abilities up. In Dota 2, when you're Wraith King, you get all of your health back, you slow everybody around you, and all your abilities come off of cooldown. But it'll be interesting to see how far they go with this. This champion actually does sound maybe like a tank, because one of their abilities is called Absorption Field, which has 3000, so whether it's 3000 shield that it has, or 3000 health, or something new, not entirely sure. There's two other abilities, Charge Blast and Rush, which Rush sounds a bit like a movement ability. It's quite hard to guess there, and Charge Blast, who knows, it could just be some form of extra damage, or like you do a charge damage of your normal attack. What's interesting though, and kind of funny, is I use Omni Knight from Dota 2's picture on my last data mining. And Omni Knight in the game, in Dota 2, uses a mace as their weapon, and well actually it's kind of more like a hammer, but you can replace it with a mace in some of the skins. But this champion here, it's got default mace. The other things that are listed are self-resurrection supporting, so not exactly sure what that means, but also a chain attack is listed. Perhaps it's a bit like Zin's weapon, maybe when you swing it you throw out like a slash or an orb or something, and it gets more damage as you get each of the hits, because obviously Zin's the third one, you get extra damage. Maybe it's a bit more of like an accumulative thing like Willow's attacks, where you just get a little bit of extra damage with that legendary card. But that's quite interesting anyway, and it doesn't seem like they can resurrect the whole team just at this moment. But if they do have some sort of effect on supporting with resurrection, maybe they're the first sort of hybrid support tank character, although I suppose Torvald can do that with their shield bubble. But that's quite interesting, and there's more stuff there, so hopefully it'll put some people's fears to rest. There was some more on that champion Churchill that was mentioned. Not a lot, but there's a little bit more. So there's one that just basically reduces damage, one of the abilities, their Q, and there's an AoE slow and an AoE pulse. So it could be like an Aris thing that pulses, but that's very speculative at the moment. Nothing's really changed from Demon since I last talked about him, but Strix has got a lot of stuff. They've pretty much got all of their cards now, which I talked about last time. I was expecting Strix to have all the cards in one of the deeper data mines, but I didn't know when they were going to come out. Xlayu said his would come out tomorrow, but Smite Data Mining got to it first today. Anyway, there's more stuff. This Strix, again though, if you haven't seen my other videos, has two weapons that you switch between. One is some kind of weapon that's a sidearm, and one seems to be a rifle with a scope. The big thing that's been emphasized now with Strix is that they have stealth, and it seems to be a massive part of their character. So you can apparently shoot in the stealth, they're guessing at the moment, and there's a pool of stealth like a mana, and it seems that maybe you eat into this and perhaps it regenerates after you don't use it. And you consume this mana each second that you're in stealth, so unlike Sky there's not a set cooldown, it just depends on when you're strategically using it, but also you consume this mana each time you take a shot in stealth. So this is big as well, because it's stating that you can shoot people whilst you're stealth, which seems kind of crazy, but I'm guessing there's some sort of counterplay in the game, or it consumes so much mana that it completely puts it on cooldown for ages. Maybe that's the downside of using it whilst you're still stealth. The cards also give us more indications on what the abilities are. So Flare was one of the abilities we were talking about, and Flare now, because of these cards, seems to be some sort of a revealing ability. Maybe does a slight bit of damage, maybe not, but let's go through the cards. Overburn 1, Flare's reveal effect lasts an additional 1, 2, or 3, or 4 seconds at each level. And then again, the next one, it doesn't actually have a name, but it's on Overburn 1, increases the reveal range of flare by 20, 40, 60, or 80%. So it seems this character can, in an area, reveal everybody on a map. Now, actually, I make a lot of comparisons to those two, but there's a character called Clockwork who can fire like a firework, which is almost like a flare, and it does a slight AoE damage as it lands, and then basically spots everyone in the area. It could work very well like this, and because Owl has a sniper rifle, it could very much help using that out, and people won't know where the Owl is if they're stealthed, and okay, we're guessing that they probably come out of stealth if they shoot too much, but it does sound quite powerful right there. They have all the vision and people can't see them. There are some interesting ones to do with the stealth. So Ambush basically gives you weapon shots in stealth deal 15% more damage. Now, it doesn't say how much the other ones are, it could be more, so this one's interesting because it could buff the damage quite a lot, especially if it's a sniper shot and maybe you get headshot. So maybe again pointing the fact that when you're out of stealth, you come out of stealth pretty quickly. The next one is Escape Plan 1, 2, 3, or 4. Entering stealth below 65% of health heals you for 100, 200, 300, or 400 health. This I guess could be useful if you're using your sidearm, you're close up, then you use your stealth to get away rather than using your further range weapon, whether it's a sniper rifle, whether it's a rifle, whatever it might be. Guerrilla Tactics also gives you stealth resource 15, 30, 45, or 60. We don't know how much that is in relation to time, but it gives you back every time you get an elimination, so you can keep your stealth going if you keep getting the kills. Well, not kills, but eliminations. That's quite interesting as well, that you can sort of gather the darkness to you. Nocturnal is a base that your stealth bar consumes 50% slower. I don't know whether that's the top level, it seems quite high, but it's listed as 1, 2, 3, or 4, so perhaps this actually maybe listed wrongly? Maybe this is a legendary card? I'm not entirely sure, but again, quite interesting as it gives an option, instead of the Guerrilla Tactics, to just have it generally be consumed less over time. Stalker 1, 2, 3, or 4 increases reload speed by 10, 20, 30, or 40% while stealth is active. Then Tactical Retreat, stealth, gain 10, 20, 30, or 40% movement speed for 2 seconds when entering stealth. So this one might be useful when you're using a sidearm, you're getting in close. That's quite interesting there. Some of the cool play with the two weapons is in called mags. Every 2 seconds your inactive weapon regenerates 2, 4, 6, or 8 ammo. So basically you can shoot away with one of your weapons, bring out your sidearm, take that one out, and you might have some ammunition when you get it out again. That sounds pretty cool. I like the idea of the switching between weapons and not having to reload them. Dexterous 1, 2, 3, or 4 reduces the time you swap to your sidearm by 20, 40, 60, or 80%. So maybe this is pointing towards a more aggressive build where you're using both your weapons and being very active. Instinct 1, 2, 3, or 4. Swapping to your pistol grants 10, 20, 30, or 40% lifesteal for 2 seconds. I talked about this. Strix is like a vampire owl, and I was saying there might be an ability in there to do some lifesteal, so we can have some vampire Strix here. Interestingly enough, actually, that says pistol. I didn't notice that, so the sidearm is probably some kind of pistol. That's really interesting to know. I wonder if this is a machine pistol or just like a fast-firing single-shot pistol. We'll just have to see on that one. Finally, Resourceful 1, 2, 3, or 4. Every 2 seconds your rifle is out, the cooldown of flare is reduced by 0.25, 0.5, or 0.75, or 1 seconds. It's quite interesting. And then the other ones that are just more basic. Grizzled 1, 2, 3, 4. Gain 50, 100, 150, or 200 health base. That's a pretty basic card. Grizzled 1, 2, 3, or 4. These are named the same. I don't know whether these are options. Maybe they're thinking about putting them in. Maybe they're not going to go in. Move 10, 20, 30, or 40% faster whilst holding your sidearm. Again, for the aggressive build. Crackshot 1, 2, 3, or 4. Your sidearm deals 20% more damage to targets you have hit with your sniper rifle within the last 4 seconds. That's interesting because you use your rifle, and then in that last 4 seconds you're chasing somebody down with your sidearm if they get close to you, or you're using your rifle, you hit somebody, and then they're coming in close to you and you use your pistol. Infused Crystals increase the ammo count both your weapons by 1, 2, 3, or 4. That's pretty basic. Trigger Control reduce maximum sidearm inaccuracy by 8, 16, 24, or 32%. So it kind of goes towards the idea, a bit like Sky's weapon, when you're firing it, it gets more inaccurate over time, and a bit like Tyra's weapon, so you'll probably have to burst this or single shot it to be useful. Again, perhaps more leaning towards a slightly automatic weapon. I don't know, it could just be that it's a single shot as well and that it has some sort of recoil or drop off of the maximum accuracy of the cone of fire. And finally, White Knuckle reduce sidearm recoil by 6, 12, 18, 24%. So which gives you an idea, recoil kicking up. I mean, single shotting can give you recoil, but again, maybe automatic realm. That's given us a lot more information about Strix actually, and it's quite exciting actually. It's quite an interesting approach, but how effective will stealth be here, as Sky has had such a hard time in the game? Well, actually, I think because it's a long-range champion, it's like Charlene. Charlene benefits from the stealth more because they can shoot from further away, and in the game, the way it works, if you get close to them, then you see them. And here again, Strix might have more of a chance to be useful with the stealth, and we don't know how much of a big thing it is about the Strix, but it does seem to have quite a lot of influence on what you do, and because of this mana bar, it seems like you'll be managing it all the time. And maybe it's a bit like Torvald's old shield, where you had basically the rune resources, and you used them when you got your shield back, and you had to manage that. I'm actually pretty excited for this champion. Again, I don't know whether it's going to be a animalistic champion this time around. I don't know whether it's just going to be like a Strix now, like maybe wearing an owl mask, maybe wearing like a feathered cape or something as they go in and out of the stealth. But this is a very interesting champion. What are your thoughts on Strix? Because there's a lot of stuff coming. Are you excited for this champion as well? It's likely to be announced in the next 2 weeks on the Friday. Also, we talked about the new game mode and the map. Well, it actually seems that this new game mode, the Siege, is actually linked to the Halloween 2017 map. So this could be a event coming in October, and perhaps this is maybe, I mean, with a Siege idea, maybe there's going to be like quite a spooky map. Maybe they're going to try out and do the old Siege map again, where basically you siege the gates and went into the tower. And again, listed as Tower A, Tower B, and Castle. But actually, when you have a Tower A and a Tower B, it sounds a lot more like a MOBA game, so maybe they're going to have some form of lane-based push. Maybe even just splitting it off to a single lane, and then having the flanking and the battling going on around it, and maybe having the push be almost like a payload, but past towers. Maybe there'll be actually some interaction with some sort of AI attack or a bot that is a tower or something like that. Honestly, I think that could be quite interesting. But again, it could just be a trial run. Maybe that's why they're doing it for this Halloween. See how it goes, and then maybe release it as a main mode to play with. I did think that originally Paladins was quite clunky in its original iterations, but the game mode wasn't bad. It was just that I don't think it was as visceral as what they have now, but I think that it could add a lot as an alternative mode, and a lot of people might come to play it just for that mode, because some people did very much prefer the closed alpha. Finally, on cosmetics, there's a Leanne Goddess skin coming. I honestly can't guess what that is. I mean, she's already going for the Boa Hancock thing where she cocks back her head and like is like bow to me. Genos has an Eclipse skin, so maybe some form of epic skin coming from Genos. That's quite interesting as he's come out so soon. There's an Unknown Kitten skin, where this is just residual from the Maeve Kitten skin. Not entirely sure. The ones I already knew about, Inara Chevron, Lex Sci-Fi Shooter, and Zim Barbarian. And there's also a Tyra M16A1, which is the new sort of rifle, like a modern day rifle. So maybe they're making like a modern day Tyra skin. Not entirely sure. Anyway, that was pretty much the data mining as of is in the Smite data mining. This is a lot more detailed than what I talked about before, so be sure to let me know all of your super spicy speculations in the comments section below. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe for more of my content, and I'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching, everyone. Joshino.